Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Pokémon starts with binding the dragon god system. Chapter 61. Lin Qing looked at Tang Yuehua, who was wearing a tight sportswear, and was also stunned. How could this woman be so brave? She was almost killed yesterday. It happened again today. Does she have a resurrection coin? Not afraid of death. Ah Qing, you only take me with you. I know you must want to avoid me, so you let those girls deceive me during the day, right? After all, you can't get a marriage certificate if you are not 20 years old. I fell in love with you when you saved me anyway. I will come to the Hunter Center every day to wait for you. If you don't take me, I will go by myself. If I die, I will blame you. It's poisonous. Lin Qing was just forced to have a real play with Xie Wanwan, and now there is another guy who won't cry until he sees the coffin. Ah Qing, take me with you. I am willing to do anything for you, anything is fine. Take me with you. Do you think I'm a marsupial dragon? Just take me with you. My wife will kill me if she knows. Just as the two were arguing, the man named Tishan in the distance came over with his new female companion in his arms, looking arrogant. Haha. Tang Yuehua, I said you kept a wild man, no wonder you didn't die, it turns out you had a lover to pick you up. I was really blind to treat you so well. No wonder you didn't get intimate with me, love likes tenderness. Ha ha ha. Tang Yuehua was slightly stunned. This extremely disgusting voice was not the ex-boyfriend who abandoned her. They only dated for half a month, and then he pushed Tang Yuehua into the beast group in order to survive. And now the man has embraced a new woman, who looks about 25 or 26 years old, and should not be a student. Oh, is this the fool you mentioned who is both a good and bad person? She looks like a vixen, no wonder she can charm a pretty boy. Look at the thin man behind her. He must not be good at that. He is not coming to the dragon secret realm today, right? Ha ha ha, he is not afraid of death and is a desperate couple in there. Tang Yuehua was annoyed. This beast actually distorted the facts. It was obviously him. Just when Tang Yuehua was about to go up to argue, she suddenly felt her waist heat up, and a warm hand hugged her. Tang Yuehua looked at Lin Qing, who was hugging her in surprise. Haha, you said I am not good at that. Have you tried, or have you seen it? Lin Qing, who was caught in the crossfire, was obviously a little unhappy. He got angry when he saw the coquettish old woman. You are looking for death. Just when Tishan wanted to attack Lin Qing, he suddenly felt that the other party's eyes were like a bottomless pit, extremely terrifying. Little did he know that Lin Qing had already released the skill of the baby dragon and stared. The group of people on the opposite side definitely couldn't figure out what was going on. They felt that their legs were shaking when they looked at the man. Then Lin Qing walked directly to the woman who said he couldn't do it, put one hand around her waist, leaned his face in front of her, and almost touched her mouth immediately. He said with a teasing look, "Can I do it? Do you want to see it tonight?" The woman's legs were weak at that time. She felt that the eyes of the man on the opposite side were too scary, like a prehistoric beast, and she was so scared that she didn't dare to speak at all. After teaching the other party a lesson, Lin Qing also felt boring and took Tang Yuehua to the commission announcement office. After Lin Qing and the others left, Tishan, who was just arrogant and domineering, now felt that his head was green. The man just now had already worn 2 green hats on him in his mind. Compared with the woman in his arms, he still liked Tang Yuehua more, because that girl was younger, more beautiful, and had a better figure than the one in his arms. It's good to coax and deceive. Looking at Lin Qing going away, Tishan has made up his mind. If this man also goes to the secret realm, he will deal with Tang Yuehua in front of him, otherwise it will be difficult to eliminate the hatred in his heart. After seeing the commission, Lin Qing was also a little surprised, because these 3 commissions were issued by Longye Company, Limited, and it should be Ni Union who issued it for him. All 3 commissions are A-level commissions, going to the dragon secret realm to subdue the dragon elf cubs, and 300 million alliance coins will be rewarded according to the qualification level. There is no upper limit. Longye Company, Limited is really rich. It threw out 1 billion alliance coins at once. For the 3 elves, it would be great if I could complete this commission. Tang Yuehua next to him said helplessly. Lin Qing didn't say anything. Just follow me. There will always be places where I can be useful. Let's learn about the combat power first. By the way, what elves do you have? I remember your Farfetch'd has. I also have an elite level shuttlecock cotton and an elite level mosquito repellent frog. Tang Yuehua said excitedly. She was so grateful to Tishan and his group of beasts that she could legitimately go to the secret realm with Lin Qing. Well, okay, not bad. Lin Qing thought about it. After all, he was the president of the third-year student union, so his strength should not be too strong. It would be too bad. He knew that the elves like Shuttlecock Mian were not very good in terms of attack power, but the skills of this kind of elves were released very quickly. It's even more effective when used to release sleeping powder and paralysis powder, but I won't be sure it will actually be used later. There are also water-type ones that can save people's lives. Lin Qing is a landlubber. He is still thinking about going back to the villa and having someone teach him how to swim. Don't let the dragon god body become a god by then, and then he drowns. Let's go. Today is actually the dragon's secret realm. I'll kill him no matter what. Lin Qing said with excitement. It would be great if there was a mini dragon or Yaya this time. And just after Lin Qing left the Elf Hunter Center with Tang Yuehua, Tishan had already called 6 people, all of whom were his best friends. Killing people and grabbing treasures in secret realms has long been a common occurrence for him. He snorted coldly and hugged the woman in his arms. It caused the other person an unbearable pain. This time the secret realm is different from the previous ones. The previous secret realms were all in mountains or caves, but this time the dragon's secret realm is actually on a cliff on the east coast of Qingliu City. When Lin Qing and the others arrived, the place was already crowded with people. There was also a large team of members of the Alliance's law enforcement team controlling order at the door. There seemed to be people from the 3 elites of Qingliu. Lin Qing seemed to have seen Long Jia Huawu, an extremely powerful woman from the 3 elites of Qingliu. What happened in this place? Why are the Alliance and the 3 elites of Qingliu here? Lin Qing asked with some confusion. He was really confused. Next to him, Tang Yuehua said with a wicked smile, "Hey, call me dear and I'll tell you. Are you sick? I'll go find someone else and ask." Okay. Why are you so fierce? This dragon secret realm is a large secret realm, and there must be a group of dragons. Every dragon elves are valuable, and it is rumored that there will be legendary creatures in every large secret realm. The little elves live in it. That dragon secret realm must be a legendary dragon. Lin Qing felt like his brain was filled with blood when he heard this. Legendary dragon elf. Isn't that just prepared for him? There are indeed many people coming today, including Huo Wu from the 3 heroes of Qingliu, people from the 4 major families, and trainers from some small guilds. Lin Qing looked at them and saw that there were at least 400 or 500 people, the weakest of whom were elites. Among them, professional level must account for half, and there must be masters. Just when Lin Qing was still thinking about how to snatch the legendary Pokémon from this group of people, the member of the Alliance law enforcement team guarding the entrance to the secret realm spoke with a loudspeaker. Dear elite trainers, today is the first day of the opening of the Dragon Secret Realm, and the opening time is a total of 10 days. This time the Alliance will also send a team there. The Alliance investigator Captain Yulongdu will lead the team. Don't worry, we are going to perform a special mission, you can just take care of yourself. After the law enforcement team member finished speaking, some people below began to guess the intentions of the Alliance. What would be the mission that would cause the law enforcement team to be dispatched? Supreme Treasure, or the cub of a legendary Pokémon. And the Alliance investigators have at least 1 gym-level Pokémon. Lin Qing also looked at the red-haired man with a look of surprise. He was one of the idols in TV Pokémon when he was a child. He was a dragon-type Pokémon. His strength rose from the 4 heavenly kings to the champion. He was also one of the 8 masters of the Pokémon Championship, ranking 4th. However, judging from the current situation, he should not be that old yet. He looks relatively young at around 20 years old, but his strength is already at the gym level. Lin Qing knew the strength of this dragon-type Pokémon. Not only did he master the power of Evergreen, he could read the thoughts of Pokémon and heal them, and he could also control some dragon-type Pokémon. A man with an official plugin. However, Lin Qing was naturally confident that he could surpass him. After all, the dragon god body was here. As long as he captured a legendary dragon-type Pokémon, he would take off directly. Okay, now, all trainers, Please prepare to go to the dragon's secret realm. Please come here to register. Following the instructions of the Alliance law enforcement team member, Lin Qing and the others also followed the large group to the entrance of the secret realm. Hold on tight. The large secret realm is randomly teleported. Tang Yuehua pulled Lin Qing nervously. The difference from the small secret realm is that once you enter this place, you will be randomly teleported to various places in the secret realm. If you are lucky, you may be teleported directly to the elf's nest, but you don't know if you will survive. Before Lin Qing stepped into the entrance, he subconsciously held Tang Yuehua's arm, which made his cheeks slightly hot and he was lost in thought. At this moment, a blue light curtain fell down, shining on the group of people, and then they were sucked in. Lin Qing felt like riding a roller coaster, with people flying in front and souls chasing behind. After about 3 seconds, the whole person suddenly stopped and his head was dizzy. The two were teleported to a grassland, and it was a grassland full of dangers. Then Lin Qing saw a huge female flying mantis holding a sickle to cut him. So lucky, he was sent to a group of carnivorous elves right away, which was amazing. Lin Qing took Tang Yuehua and ran away desperately. Most of the people behind him were professional level, and he couldn't handle it. Wait for me, I'm scared, Tang Yuehua behind him shouted in panic. She was afraid that Lin Qing would kick her backwards like Tishan. What a hassle, Lin Qing was annoyed. It was really troublesome to take her with him. He turned around and hugged her horizontally, and then continuously released the ramming skill to speed up, pulling away from the gathering of those flying mantises. At this time, the woman who was being carried by Lin Qing was not afraid of death. She took advantage of Lin Qing's escape and sucked on his neck directly, and a big strawberry was planted. Lin Qing, who had come to his senses, ran and cursed, "Are you sick? How can I face people? It's so fierce. It really is. It will disappear in a few days. We will definitely stay here for a few more days. Don't worry, hurry up. Run faster. Catch up." Quote. Lin Qing was annoyed. This woman would take advantage of others. Just leave her behind and let Scyther chop her to death. After running for a while, Lin Qing was exhausted, and the group of big brothers finally stopped chasing. "You are awesome. You are my dream lover. With you, I am not afraid to stab Groudon's ass. You are my hero." Tang Yuehua, who survived the disaster, stuck to Lin Qing like a piece of gummy candy. "Groudon, come if you dare. I'm the sword of the cliff." Lin Qing, who survived the disaster, was about to breathe a sigh of relief when he saw the familiar figures in the sky, and there were a large group of them. He took a breath of cold air at that time. That is, what is that? Oh my god. Dragons. Is this the Flying Dragon Valley? Tang Yuehua beside him was also shocked. This way, running wildly, the two of them accidentally came to a huge volcanic cliff. From south to north, the entire cliff was unknown how long it was, and at the bottom of the cliff was a visible lava river, and the entire mountain was black. The forest outside was also smoked black by the volcanic ash. Except for some individual heat-resistant plants that could survive, the rest were all turned into charcoal. On this volcanic cliff, countless dragonites, Charizard, pterosaurs, and tyrannosaurus flew in the sky. Some dragon-type elves were also entrenched on some small platforms on the cliff, and some were already hatching their dragon eggs. "I know, husband. Scare me. Who is your husband?" Lin Qing, who was fascinated by the scene, was frightened by Tang Yuehua next to him, and the whole person shuddered. These little Pokémons must be using the temperature of this volcano to hatch their eggs. Look, there are duck-billed fire dragons and flame chickens on the cliffs at the bottom. I'm not blind. You don't need to tell me. While Lin Qing and the other two were still talking, Lin Qing seemed to see someone in the distance. He immediately pulled Tang Yuehua behind the volcanic rock and observed with a vigilant look. Tang Yuehua also understood, and huddled in Lin Qing's arms honestly, his eyes rolling around. "Ha ha ha, we're rich. All dragon eggs. Ha ha ha," a man riding a professional level toucan said excitedly to his two companions behind him. The three people were also happy. If each of them could get a few dragon eggs back, wouldn't that be rich? As they said that, the other two released the flying Pokémons, and then began to fly towards the dragon's nest without adult Pokémons. One of the men was grinning while holding a fossilized pterosaur egg, but what he didn't know was that the moment the three of them entered the Flying Dragon Valley, all the flying dragons in the sky smelled their scent. Lin Qing thought it was not good, and quickly released the baby dragon to pee on the two of them, making Tang Yuehua feel sick. At this moment, the screams of the three people were heard in the Flying Dragon Valley. Dead, dead. Tang Yuehua looked at the dense group of flying dragons with a face full of fear, tearing the three people and the three toucans in the sky, and she was so scared that she dared not breathe. Lin Qing quickly covered the silly woman's mouth, fearing that she would be tricked to death. If they rashly entered this Dragon Valley, they would definitely die. The Dragonite and Dragonite in the sky were obviously gym level or above. Stealing eggs. Unless you jump into the lava, you may escape the pursuit of the dragon group, otherwise you will become dragon shit. Calm down, you don't have to take the eggs of the giant and fossil pterosaurs. The fossil pterosaurs are not dragon type. Calm down, Lin Qing muttered to himself in his heart. Ordinary dragon types are really not worth his life. Let's go. Lin Qing didn't dare to stay. They lay on the edge of this dragon valley. If they were caught by the hungry guy, they would be dead. There was a group of scythers not far behind. Staying here for one more second means you don't want to live. Thinking of this, Lin Qing took back the baby dragon that was responsible for peeing and shitting to cover up the smell, and ran towards the south again with Tang Yuehua in his arms. And just after they left, 3 more groups of people were burned to death by jet flames in order to steal the eggs of Dragonite and Tyranitar, and no one survived. I don't know how long it took, but a group of alliance teams riding flying elves came here. When they were still some distance away from the Dragon Valley, Yulongdu rode a Dragonite and rushed out, and the others were on standby behind. When Yulongdu came to the sky above the Dragon Valley, 4 extremely powerful dragon elves suddenly flew out from the volcanic cliffs and surrounded Yulongdu in the middle. The 4 elves were Charizard, Tyranitar, Dragonite, and Pterosaur, all of which were gym level. These 4 were obviously the leaders of those elves. Tyranitar came up and was about to attack Yulongdu, and seemed very angry. But he was stopped by the one-eyed Dragonite later, so Yulongdu seemed to communicate with the 4 dragon elves, as if he was looking for something. Afterwards, Yulongdu looked at the elf hunters who were besieged to death by this group of dragon elves, and just took a look and led the team away. Lin Qing, who had finally run to the southern seashore, was now fighting with 3 water jump fish. He finally met a group of people who could beat them, and they were the 3 dragon elves, so he had to deal with them. Hurry, hurry, that giant swampert is coming. Hurry up. Tang Yuehua next to him shouted excitedly. Anyway, if he ran away, he would definitely hold her and run with him. After Lin Qing subdued the 3 elite water jump fish, he continued to run with Tang Yuehua. He had already thought of what elf he wanted next, to catch a mount. He had to catch one. If he didn't catch a mount, he would be exhausted sooner or later in the secret realm. Just after they ran from the west coast to the east, they suddenly heard thunder in the distance. Is it going to rain? Being held by your lover and walking in the rain, wow, there is nothing more romantic than this. I feel that my heart is like my shuttlecock cotton, it is already light and fluttering, Tang Yuehua said with a crazy face. Lin Qing was already numb. No matter what she said, she was sick. Lin Qing also saw that there seemed to be a lot of dark clouds in the sky south of this coast, and there were bursts of thunder. What is there in the south? Lin Qing asked with some doubts. What can there be in the south? The end of the world, do you want to take me there? Shut up, are you getting ahead of me? I'm annoyed now. Lin Qing looked annoyed. Didn't they say there was a mythical beast? I didn't even see the fur of the mythical beast. Even the water dog, who was shamed by the mythical beast, made a typo. He didn't even see the water king that everyone could see. Isn't this nonsense? Sui-kun, I feel like you are targeting me. Just when Lin Qing was a little annoyed, he saw a looming elf in the dark cloud in the distance, but it was too far away for Lin Qing to see. It seems that the tide has receded a bit. Looking at the sun corals crawling out of the beach on the shore, Lin Qing was also a little surprised. How can the tide recede in this secret realm? Is it a separate world? Or a space connected to the outside? No, there is not even a moon in the sky. What the hell is the tide receding? What time is it? It's so bright. If there are no exotic treasures in the south, he will cut his dick upside down. Looking at the elf hunters and the three heroes of Qingliu who were constantly flying to Dragon Valley in the sky, Lin Qing made a bold decision. He looked at the lobster soldiers jumping on the beach behind him with a smirk, and directly knocked them down with a dragon's fury, and then received them in the elf ball. A lobster soldier nearby was so frightened that he couldn't tell east from west and north from south. He tried to return to the sea in a panic, but Lin Qing stepped on his tail. Hee, I haven't eaten lobster since I traveled through time. I wonder if this lobster soldier tastes better with garlic or 13 spices. 5 minutes later, the ordinary lobster soldier who had succumbed to Lin Qing's power swam south with Lin Qing, and Tang Yuehua followed with her mosquito-repellent frog. 5 minutes after Lin Qing and the others left, 8 people emerged from the bushes behind. They were Tishan and the others. Brother Sean, are these two idiots going south to die? Ha ha ha, I think they were scared silly by the flying dragons in Dragon Valley and wanted to find an exit to go home. Brother Sean, should we go to Dragon Valley to have another look? Should we find a few idiots to help us divert the flying dragons? Then, we can go inside to loot. That makes sense. Brother Sean, quote, listening to the words of his brothers, Tishan knew what was important, but he still wanted to kill Lin Qing. Looking at Lin Qing who was swimming towards the south, and looking at the dark sky in the south, he cursed in his heart, idiot, you are looking for death. Then he led his brothers to the direction of the Dragon Valley behind. Chu, Lin Qing in the sea sneezed subconsciously, and then he said self-deprecatingly, it must be my wife Sharona who missed me. Tisk, it was obviously me. I was just wondering if you were cold. Quote. At this time, Lin Qing seemed to see a faint green island in the distance, and then excitedly asked the lobster soldier to swim faster. After about another 30 minutes, Lin Qing and his friends finally arrived at this place. This is a U-shaped island that looks extremely dreamy. Some colorful water plants on the shore are like crystals, shining, and the stones on the ground are like gems, reflecting the colorful light under the water. Lin Qing subconsciously looked to the north, and the continent of the dragon's secret realm had become the size of a bean, almost invisible. This beautiful island should be only 1,000 square meters in size, and there is a huge crystal stone platform on it, which looks extremely beautiful and is definitely worth a lot of money. At this time, a round head poked out and looked at the man and woman with a puzzled look. Woo. Lin Qing also felt that he seemed to be monitored by some elves. This kind of elves living on the island in the sea. If it is a legendary elf, it must be Lugia, or Tapu Finfin, Fiona, etc., preferably Palkia with both dragon and water elements. Just don't give him the water dog Suicune. Lin Qing began to search expectantly, but he didn't know that he had been watched by a pair of eyes for a long time. Lin Qing searched for a long time but didn't find anything on this small island. Could it be hiding? Thinking of this, Lin Qing wanted to climb up to the huge stone platform and wanted to see the whole picture of the island from above. At this time, the two mysterious elves in the dark cloud in the sky seemed to have noticed something, and looked at the U-shaped island below at the same time, with strong hostility in their eyes. Oh my god, I'm so tired, I haven't climbed up yet. Husband, give me a hand. Who is your husband? I won't care about you if you keep yelling at me. You're sick. You said I have a wife. Oh, stop lying. Have you ever heard of a saying, a woman 3 years older than you is a treasure? Although I'm 3 years older than you, I can do everything. Really? Lin Qing didn't know what this woman meant by, can do everything. Anyway, his mind was full of mythical beasts now, and he had a headache if he was told anything else. After climbing for about 10 minutes, Lin Qing finally climbed to the huge stone platform, and then saw a round gem emitting colorful light, supported by a small fountain. The crystal clear pearl wall seemed to be fragile, and the colorful light was full of mysterious atmosphere. It looked so sacred, and the water flowing out of the circle looked like fairy dew. So beautiful, Tang Yuehua said with a dull face, looking at the bead emitting 7-color fluorescence. Lin Qing always felt that this bead had a kind of intimacy, and an urge to protect it. What is this? Just as Lin Qing was about to reach out and touch it with a dazed look on his face, an extremely angry roar came from the sky like thunder. Lin Qing looked in that direction with a horrified look on his face, and it seemed that there was nothing in his search. Who is it? Which divine beast? This terrifying pressure. Ah! At this moment, a destructive beam as thick as a train shot towards Lin Qing. It was so fast that it arrived in front of Lin Qing in the blink of an eye. Lin Qing was dazed, and the whole person collapsed there. He couldn't react at all at that speed, as if the whole person was about to be burned to ashes. I'm going to die. Tang Yuehua next to him seemed to rush over to block this attack for Lin Qing. At this critical moment, suddenly, a red elf rushed and took Lin Qing and Tang Yuehua out. The destructive beam just now left a large and terrifying deep pit on the huge stone platform. If it was really hit, it would definitely be a disaster. Lin Qing climbed up in a bit of surprise, and shouted in panic to the woman who wanted to block the destructive beam for him, Tang Yuehua. I'm here. Look, what a cute elf. Lin Qing subconsciously looked at the elf in front of Tang Yuehua. Red and white, streamlined body, like a fighter plane, a pair of big eyes that looked very kind. Latias, huh, Lin Qing said subconsciously. As a second-level god of dragon and psychic systems, Latias's strength is naturally unquestionable. Lin Qing was a little curious and wanted to touch the body of the elf, but at this moment, the elf who had just launched the attack rushed over again. While rushing towards Lin Qing, it howled angrily, wanting to kill the human who broke into their home. Ah! Lin Qing knew that it must be Latios, a little elf with an extremely hot temper and hatred of evil. At this moment, the Latios directly blocked in front of Lin Qing and others, and continued to roar angrily at the Latios. Latios was very unwilling to be scolded, flew to the sea surface in the distance, and began to launch a destructive beam towards the sea surface, trying to vent his anger. Just when Lin Qing was stunned, suddenly a gentle female voice sounded in his heart. Human, didn't scare you. Lin Qing looked around and saw that the Latios's eyes were glowing blue, and he was communicating with Lin Qing and others through telepathy. No, thank you. Lin Qing said a little embarrassedly. You must be here for my child. A human with dragon breath. As Latios was talking, a much smaller Latios cub ran out. Lin Qing was stunned when he heard this. Does this Latios know Lin Qing's purpose and still want to save him? What on earth? Lin Qing was also a little shocked when he looked at the little Latios cub rubbing against his mother. What level is this divine beast? How can I not tell? Human with dragon breath. This is my child, and that over there is the heart drop. It is something that my family has guarded for generations. The adult Latios said as he brought Lin Qing and Tang Yuehua to the side of the beautiful gem. Aren't you angry? You know I came for your child, and you still saved me. Lin Qing asked with some doubt. If he guessed correctly, the Latios behind him must have entrusted him with something. You are very smart. Although I don't know which dragon god is in your body, I can be sure of one thing, you are a friend of our dragon clan. There is no human who does not covet the mythical beast, whether it is a good person or a bad person, right? It's just a different way. Lin Qing subconsciously touched his chin. It seems to be the case. Either defeat and subdue, or persuade, play the victim, or master ball. I don't know if there is a master ball in the universal store. Human, don't dream of using tough means to subdue the phantom elves. Even if you succeed in subduing them, if you can't achieve mutual understanding, they will leave you sooner or later. The elves are emotional. They are not tools. Human, I think you are not a bad person. I want to ask you for something. For our Lati dragon clan. If you can do it. Latios said and looked at the little Latios playing next to the heart drop. Lin Qing swallowed subconsciously and said, is there anything that you divine beasts can't do? Well, we can't make the rest of the dragons understand us. Have you seen the dragons on the opposite continent? They all came for the heart drops, and over time they settled there and gave birth to children. I hope you can go to the Flying Dragon Valley. Lin Qing's eyes almost popped out when he heard this. He said self-deprecatingly, you mean you want me to drive away those dragon elves? How is this possible? I'm not asking you to defeat them. They are just a small tribe. If they really fight, the dragons behind them will come out. No matter how many of you come, you will die. I mean you go and convince them. Lin Qing looked at the heart drop in surprise. Could it be that this heart drop can help the dragons? Why did he have the urge to protect it at the beginning? Human, the importance of the heart drop is to maintain the ecological balance of the environment. It can provide endless vitality, but it can also increase the special attack and special defense of dragon elves by 20%. If absorbed, some top dragons that cannot break through may break through directly. Lin Qing almost understood what was going on when he thought of this. All the dragon elves living in the volcano Flying Dragon Valley came for this heart drop, and they lived there for a long time. And Latias and the others have been protecting it here. Although they are divine beasts, they don't want to cause internal strife among the dragons and want to solve it through peaceful means. Then Lin Qing is just a messenger. I just don't know if the other party will be killed by a dragon star group in seconds. Lin Qing looked at the young Latias again, and naturally understood what the other party meant. Okay, I accept your commission, Latias. Give me a few days. When Latias saw that Lin Qing accepted it, she shouted at her husband twice. Latios, who was still using tricks to vent his dissatisfaction on the sea, was also very tough when he heard his wife calling him, and he was not a bird. Then he was yelled at by Latias, and he was wilted at that time. Look, his wife, Latios, is now carrying Lin Qing and the others to the Flying Dragon Island in the south, and her eyes are full of dissatisfaction. Lin Qing felt that this henpecked man wanted to throw him into the river and drown him every minute. You fool, aren't you afraid of your wife? Lin Qing looked at the Latios below with a confused face and said, you can also read other people's thoughts. Haven't washed your feet in a few days. Don't move around on my head, it's suffocating me. It's so annoying. If you move again, do you believe that I will send you to heaven with one shot? Latios said with an annoyed look at Lin Qing riding on his back. Lin Qing looked at the Latios below with a confused face. Isn't it said that divine beasts are more majestic, not very handsome and domineering? Don't talk nonsense. If you can't do it, I will definitely send you to heaven with one shot. If my wife wasn't here, you would have died long ago. I think if your wife wasn't here, you can fight Arceus alone. The Latios was so angry that he directly used a violent destructive beam, and the sea surface was directly split into two, and the waves were surging, and it was swaying from side to side. Threats, naked threats. Lin Qing still knows that a good man will not suffer a loss in front of him, and his life is more important. Not long after, Latios sent Lin Qing to the shore and turned around and walked away. He didn't want to send him even a meter more, which made Lin Qing look angry. You are awesome, you beast, wait for me, coward. Afraid of my wife. Kill me if you dare. Lin Qing, who was full of anger, saw that the other party had gone far away, and then began to curse at the sky in the south, looking like a villain who had succeeded, so mean that he was unbearable to watch. After cursing Latios, Lin Qing also looked at the flying dragons in the sky behind him, and he had no idea. Shouldn't a few good people come to assist at this time? For example, Kojira and Musashi of Team Rocket go to poke their assholes, and then I beat Team Rocket away. Wouldn't it be friends of the Dragon Clan, and we can talk? Little did I know, there are really people who assist. Remember Tishan, he just called Lin Qing, idiot, and now he is planning a big case in Phylong Valley with a group of brothers. Brother Sean, I have fooled those 3 people to lead the flying dragons from the north later. When the time comes, we will act quickly. 2 eggs per person, grab them and go separately. Then meet at the agreed place. Well, good job. I just don't know if the 3 people you mentioned can escape. Don't let them get killed when they come up, isn't that right? Don't worry, Brother Sean, their elves are superpowers and can move instantly. A cave has been found in the north. They will hide there when the time comes. Wait for us to pick them up. Hearing this, Tishan sneered directly, pick up. I will pick them up. That night, after class, Zyrna returned to Shushang Yayuan to prepare for moving, and saw some employees of Longye Company, Limited waiting at the door to help move. Madam, it's all arranged. Okay, thank you for your hard work, take me there. As soon as she arrived at the villa that Lin Qing bought, Sharona fell in love with this place. There were birds singing and flowers blooming, and there were some walking grass and butterfree in the villa garden. There was also a group of Wubo and mosquito tadpole. But she soon discovered the problem. Why is there a room full of women? Maids, female bodyguards, female housekeepers, female cooks. Even the gardeners are women. And they are all young. How brave, you are brave. You are worthy of being the man I like. You are looking for trouble with me, Sharona said with an indignant look. Then she looked at the whole 4-story house again, slowly took out her mobile phone, and began to look for help. Haha, in this case, I will fulfill your wish. Let me see how brave you are. After about 30 minutes, Sharona finally contacted the people in the phone. She let her Pokémon out with a calm face. Zhaohong, Xiaobing, Xiaomei. For a while, the round land shark, the ice elf, and the melodic appeared in the courtyard, looking at this beautiful place with joy and curiosity. As soon as Melodica May came out, she looked around, as if she was looking for her dream shark, Little Shark. After searching in vain, she lowered her head in disappointment. Friends, we will live here from today. Release your skills and show your hands and feet to your heart's content. Special training begins. It must be said that Sarona's charm and means are much higher than Lin Qing's. All the elves below are full of energy and start training very consciously. Unlike a certain lazy person who only knows how to order takeout and watch TV. And in the secret realm, Little Shark released by Lin Qing sneezed directly, and a long green snot hung directly on his face, and then he looked at the baby dragon released in front. He rubbed against the back of the baby dragon with a smirk on his face. Suddenly, the baby dragon felt a little uncomfortable with the sticky back, so he touched it and smelled it. Ah! The baby dragon roared wildly on the spot after reacting. The situation got out of control at that time, and the two enemies who had just been released started fighting in Filong Valley. Lin Qing's face was distorted with fear. You two dogs. Don't you see where you are? If you want to die, don't take me with you. Lin Qing also joined the battle at that time. The two guys could not be released at the same time. After thinking about it, Lin Qing took the baby dragon back. Little Shark, don't make trouble for me. Be quiet today, I will buy you a mobile phone when I go back. Lin Qing said with an annoyed face. He didn't understand dragon language yet, so he could only rely on this traitorous translator. When he heard that he was going to buy a mobile phone for it, Little Shark changed his face at that time, and his eyes were full of light. But when Lin Qing took Little Shark to the Flying Dragon Valley, he also found a problem. Why are there no dragon elves? Where did they go? Should we climb up and take a look? Tang Yuehua said with some concern. Her eyelids kept jumping, and she always felt that something bad was going to happen. In the north of the Flying Dragon Valley, the dense group of dragons like dark clouds had completely gone wild. Just now, 3 people stole an egg from them, and their large army of flying dragons flew over to kill those 3 people. But those 3 were too cunning, using the psychic Pokémon to instantly move into the cave. The many Pokémons who returned to the Dragon Valley were furious when they saw their empty nests. They all flew to the north and fought against the Pokémon hunters and the Alliance law enforcement team. The 4 gym leaders, Dragonite, Charizard, and Pterosaur, had reached a consensus. They had to kill all of them today, so that they could give an explanation to the tribe. Yulongdu was now leading the members of the law enforcement team to resist. He was ordered by the Alliance to come to find the heart drop, but this happened on the first day. Looking at the Pokémon hunters being slaughtered around him, he couldn't just ignore it, because there were too many. If he didn't care, they would all die. Release all the ice Pokémons. Those who can release hail weather should release it around to form an interception area. Don't mess up the formation. But the number of the opponents was too large, adding up to at least more than 300 final evolutions. Most of them were master level. There are still a few people at the gym level. And the 4 leading leaders are only one step away from breaking through to the king level. Countless people have been killed and injured. At this moment, everyone has recognized how terrible the dragon type is. Save me. I don't want to die yet. Run to the bottom of the Alliance team. It will be too late if you are late. How can the dragon group go berserk? Let's catch a few water-type elves. Which one angered them? The scene was chaotic for a while. The dragon group in the sky kept killing the people below. Those who were strong could not withstand so many. Yulongdu rode his Dragonite solemnly. Under the cover of his teammates, he also flew into the air and wanted to negotiate with the other party. 4 Dragon Kings. You are my dragon envoy. Can you stop what you are doing? What happened? One-eyed Dragonite looked at the man riding Dragonite with a very cold face and said, HMPH. Boy, do you still have the nerve to come here? You bunch, looted our dragon nest. Dozens of dragon eggs are gone. All of you will die here today. Yulongdu continued to roar unwillingly, we will help you find the dragon eggs. There is no point in you doing this. The real murderer will escape. And at this moment, the nearby Tyrannosaurus and Charizard directly shot 2 jets of flames. Yulongdu was shocked. The other party wanted to kill him, the dragon envoy, too. Form a formation. Yulongdu knew that if he didn't use all his strength at this time, he would definitely die here. He released 4 elves at once. In a few seconds, a dragon formation with both offensive and defensive capabilities was formed. In the front was a gym-level pterosaur, with 2 master-level Hakrons on either side, a gym-level Dragonite behind him, and a master-level Gyarados at the back. Move at high speed. At Dew's command, all 5 Pokémons released high-speed movement, and quickly took off as one, dodging the opponent's attack. Destroy the Death Ray Dragon Killing Formation. The 5 Pokémons released the destroyed Death Ray at the same time, and then gathered into a beam of light like a giant dragon, shooting towards the one-eyed Dragonite. The opponent tried to block it and also released a beam of destruction. But it only lasted a few seconds before it was knocked away. If Dew hadn't waved his hand to let them stop, the one-eyed Dragonite would have died on the spot. Seeing this, the other 3 leaders all rushed up, wanting to avenge their companions. A life and death fight is inevitable. Lin Qing, who originally wanted to go into Phylong Valley to find out what was going on, suddenly saw a woman riding a big king swallow flying towards the south with a proud look on her face, and she seemed to be carrying a bag on her back. Why is this so familiar? Lin Qing thought with a puzzled look on his face. She is Tishan's girlfriend. Her name is Baka. Tang Yuehua must have never forgotten her, and said angrily. The little shark next to him seemed to smell something, and wrote on the ground with a stone with a weird look on his face, she stole a few dragon eggs. Lin Qing was stunned when he heard this. He had already seen the crowd fighting in the distance, and he looked at the woman carrying the flying dragon eggs. Suddenly, he was enlightened. Baka had already flown to the meeting place they agreed on before. 6 people had returned, and the last one was missing. Baby, let me see how many eggs you got. Tishan came over when he saw the woman coming back, and asked with joy. I have bad luck, only 2 eggs. Baka said as she took the backpack over, and there were 2 fossil pterosaur eggs in it. Tishan looked at the woman, wanted to say something, then hesitated, and then laughed, put his arm around her shoulders and said with praise, not bad. I'll reward you tonight. Just then, another bald man came, and he took back his toucan with a proud look on his face, and then took out a huge package, his eyes full of madness. Ha ha ha, I stole 8 Dragonite, Tyrannosaurus, and Charizard fossil pterosaur. Rich, rich, I'm rich. At this time, Tishan looked at the bald man and laughed with some amusement. Thank you for your hard work, brother, you really made a contribution this time. Ha ha ha, rich, rich, I don't know how much money I can make. If twins and triplets are hatched again, that's doubled. While the bald man was talking, he was thinking about where to go to have fun later, so he wouldn't have to worry about the rest of his life. Lin Qing also came nearby at this time. He had already hidden in the bushes in the distance, observing this side with a telescope. There were 8 people in total, 7 men and 1 woman. There were 8 bags in the middle, and it looked like there were at least 50 eggs. And those people were all quite strong, some were professional level. However, those people seemed to be a little contradictory. Lin Qing had already seen something. At this moment, Lin Qing saw that the man named Tishan seemed to be moving a little. Tishan looked at the 2 people behind him with a hint and said, second brother, third brother, let your elves out to patrol the surroundings. The 2 understood what he said and agreed softly. The people next to them didn't care either. They just counted the dragon eggs, thinking about how much money they could sell them for and where to go to have fun. But the people behind who were counting the dragon eggs and daydreaming were killed by the elves of Tiesan and the other 3. Ha ha ha, idiots, go to hell and dream about your dreams of getting rich. I, Tishan, will burn them for you. Baka next to her was already scared silly. When she reacted, she recalled what Tishan had just said, and her legs went weak at that time. She said with a horrified face, Sean. Brother Sean, don't kill me, I don't want any. You said you would reward me well at night. While speaking, she put her hand in her pocket to touch her elf ball. This behavior immediately irritated Tishan, who was red-eyed with killing intent. Don't run, I mean tonight, the three of us brothers will reward you well, ha ha ha, Tishan said, letting his armored rhino release 100,000 volts, and directly electrocuted the woman. Ha ha ha, now the three of us brothers are really rich. This woman has fat on her belly, and I feel sick when I have with her. We have money, go back and buy a yacht. Then buy a bunch of women. Play however you want, ha ha ha, isn't it fun? Brother is right, ha ha ha, let's go quickly. This time we really make a lot of money. Don't take it lightly. Take all the Pokeballs and valuables from them, and then throw them into the sea to feed the fish. Yes, little did they know that Lin Qing, who had been watching the whole process, had already walked behind them. Lin Qing also laughed. This Tishan is really a good person, helping them in times of need. You were just thinking about how to build friendship with that group of flying dragons, and now Tishan is taking people to steal eggs to create an opportunity for you. When you come over and see so many people on the other side and don't know how to start, hee. Tishan knows you are coming and kills most of them by himself. Lin Qing was already very happy, these three people are amazing. Tishan had just collected the spoils and was about to make his way back. Just then, they saw a man with his hands raised. Tishan was slightly stunned. Isn't this the fool who provokes him in the Pokemon Hunter Center? Is he coming here with his hands raised to surrender? It seems that he has no Pokeballs. Tishan was stunned, and then he asked his toucans and rhinoceros to stand forward. Lin Qing raised his hands and said in panic, I'm being chased by a flying dragon. The elves are all separated. Can you take me out with you? I'll give you money. Brother, isn't this the fool who messed with us outside? A little brother next to him immediately recognized him and wanted to kill Lin Qing with his elite toucan on the spot. At this moment, the three of them had already found something wrong. Why was there so much sand in the air? Quicksand hell, Lin Qing said excitedly as he walked up to them. This distance was enough for him to release his skills. The other party would definitely not be able to escape. The three people and their elves who found something wrong wanted to break free, but it was too late. The three of them had been wrapped up by a large ball of sand. Yuehua sleep powder. Just after Lin Qing finished shouting, Tang Yuehua behind him released the shuttlecock cotton and used the sleep powder to hit his face. Soon, the people and elves of Tishan fell asleep directly. What should I do next? Tang Yuehua asked with a puzzled look on her face. She knew that Lin Qing must have superpowers all the way here, but she didn't ask much. Anyway, she was determined to chase him. Lin Qing was also a little confused. How to send back such a pile of eggs? If you send them back like this, the other party will think you are a thief and shoot you directly before you can say anything. Got it. Lin Qing's mind flashed, and then he released the little shark, the wicked one. As soon as the little shark came out, it saw Lin Qing's grimace, and it felt that Lin Qing seemed to want to kill it. Do you want a mobile phone? Lin Qing said with a smirk at the frightened round land shark. The little shark shook his head frantically, obviously not wanting it. Are you sure you don't want it? I heard that Sharona bought a little elf mobile phone for Zhao Hong, so I'll buy one for the baby dragon. 10 minutes later, the wicked round land shark stood on a tree with a look of despair and roared in the direction of the Dragon Valley. Because the Dragon Valley was empty, the young shark's immature dragon roar echoed back and forth between the canyons. And in the sky, he was still fighting with Yulongdu. The four dragon kings heard a very immature dragon roar almost at the same time. Yulongdu also heard it. Stop fighting. Listen, the egg thief has been caught. The four dragon kings looked at the south of the Dragon Valley with a blank face, and then told their tribesmen to stop. Then Yulongdu followed the dense group of dragons and flew towards the place where the sound came from. The little shark standing on the tree was already scared. The dense elves in the sky were enough to make it eat a pot. Especially the one-eyed dragon. The little shark felt that the other party could make it explode with a fart. For Zhao Hong. For sleeping with Zhao Hong on the microphone. Fight. Thinking of this, the little shark pulled his throat and roared to the sky. Ah! Ah! The four dragon kings flew over directly, and then looked at the tiny round land shark with a cold face. Yulongdu also listened to their conversation in dragon language. Little brat, you are not one of our tribesmen. You said that the egg thief has been found. Where is he? Take us there. My master has already caught them. Don't hurt them. All the eggs are gone. Then Little Shark took them to the southern coast. Yulongdu looked at the pile of dragon eggs, and his heart was finally relieved. Then he saw the boy next to him, walked over with a look of relief and said, "Boy, what's your name? Well done. I will report to the Alliance, you saved a lot of people." Lin Qing said very familiarly, "It's okay. The king is flattering." King, Yulongdu had seen people flattering, but he had never seen such a flattering, so he laughed at the time. "I'm not the king, you flatter me too much." At this moment, the one-eyed dragon saw the three people who stole the eggs, and it said something to the three leaders behind with a gloomy face. Then a destructive death ray shot over. Lin Qing dodged subconsciously. This power can really kill people. I don't know what ZA ate to grow up without any problems after being electrocuted every day. At this moment, the fossil pterosaur seemed to have discovered something, and said to Yulongdu with an angry face, "Many of our eggs are cracked." "You did it." Yulongdu was stunned when he heard that. Could it be that they were crushed during the theft process? He walked over with a serious face and found that many of the eggs were cracked. They were not placed in a separate egg compartment but directly put into the bag. Although Lin Qing didn't understand what the dragons were saying, he also found that the atmosphere was a little wrong. Following Yulongdu, he looked over and was surprised to find that almost 1/3 of the eggs had cracks, and as long as the elf eggs had cracks, they would most likely become dead eggs. Tishan's group of idiots. "So, you let us go back, and we will send someone to bring the advanced incubator and advanced hatching fluid. We should still have time. If it's a few hours later, it will be dangerous." Yulongdu directly put forward his opinion. But the other side refused to do so. One-eyed Dragonite said angrily, "Who knows how many people you will bring back? You have deceived us many times. I will not believe you again." Lin Qing suddenly got an inspiration. Egg incubator, egg incubator. He has it. He has everything in his universal store. Lin Qing walked over without thinking and said to Yulongdu seriously, "No need to go back. I have it. Egg incubator." You have it. At least 20 eggs have cracked, do you have it? But I want to talk to the 4 of them alone. Lin Qing said and directly conjured up 2 top-quality egg incubators, which stunned Du. Could this guy do magic? Then Lin Qing came to the side with the translator Xiaoxia and the 4 dragon kings. Lin Qing got straight to the point and said, "I can make all your cubs born smoothly, but I have a condition, that is, you need to give up the idea of the heart drop and stop causing trouble for the Latios family." One-eyed Dragonite was furious on the spot. "Asshole! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Who do you think you are? How dare you make conditions with us?" Xiaoxia was holding a notebook next to him and translating dragon language. When Lin Qing saw that the other party did not give him face, he directly threw the 2 incubators in his hand, and then conjured another one, saying with an indignant face, "I can have as many incubators as I want, and I can give them to you later. You can kill me, but these eggs will become dead eggs tonight." As soon as Lin Qing said this, the other party stopped talking. The fossil pterosaur next to him said in a panic, "Brother, my 2 children are in there. Don't wait. I can't wait. Promise him. Quick." One-eyed Dragonite looked annoyed. He had never been threatened by anyone. At this time, Lin Qing asked Xiaoxia to translate, "I will stay here until they hatch, and I will let those humans go back. Later, I will give each of you a Mega Evolution Stone. Whether you can make a breakthrough depends on your luck. How is it?" One-eyed Dragonite was stunned when he heard this. Mega Evolution Stone. If it reaches a certain level and is combined with the keystone of a human trainer, it is a secret treasure that can definitely achieve Mega Evolution. And only a very few wild Pokémon can be forced to Mega Evolve by themselves. There was once a wild pink Mega Gengar, whose strength was unfathomable. The Charizard next to him said to Xiaoxia with an indignant look on his face, "Humans, don't lie to us. Mega Evolution Stones are not so easy to get." Before Xiaoxia finished translating, Lin Qing took out 4 Mega Evolution Stones, and Charizard's eyes were straight at that time. Charizard Mega Evolution Stone, Fossil Wyvern Mega Evolution Stone, Dragonite Mega Evolution Stone, and Dragonite Mega Evolution Stone, not one less. The 4 Dragon Kings looked at each other. Instead of fighting for the heart drop with Latios for generations, they should get one of the ready-made Super Evolution Stone. They agreed at that time. An hour later, Yulongdu led everyone to leave the secret realm. This time, they were unlucky. The secret realm that could have been stayed for 10 days was disturbed by Tishan and his group, and they only stayed for 2 days before leaving. Order: seal this secret realm. Keep an eye on this place for 8 days, and don't let anyone in, otherwise those dragons will be in danger if they kill Qingliu City. Lin Qing, who stayed in Filong Valley, was now being treated as a distinguished guest. He waved his hand and a whole row of advanced incubators were released, a total of 65, and all the eggs were carefully placed in them. Then there was another round of operations, which stunned the 4 Dragon Kings. Is this human a department store? Hatching red rope. Offspring inherit the 5 individual values of their parents. Superb unchanging stone. The offspring's personality is destined to be similar to that of the parents, and there will be no unfilial children. Round amulet. Speeds up the hatching of Pokémon eggs. Super hatching fluid. Provides super high nutrition and repairs damage to Pokémon eggs. That Charizard was once abandoned by humans, it naturally recognized these things. At this moment, it was talking to the other 3 dragons about the functions of these things. When they heard the function of the inconvenient stone, some elves took the inconvenient stone back, fearing that their children would follow their temperament. Lin Qing also guessed the specific reason. In this way, Lin Qing stayed in this place for 5 days. Almost all 65 elves hatched on this day, one after another. The 4 Dragon Kings, who were extremely ferocious, also became like a nanny after seeing their cubs. The sons of the violent flying dragon, the baby dragons wanted to learn from their fathers to fly into the sky as soon as they came out, and they bumped into the surrounding things. During these 5 days, Lin Qing's little shark and baby dragon were also training skills with the adult dragons in the Flying Dragon Valley. Both of them have reached the high-level elite level. The trend of evolution is already very obvious. I believe that it will not be long before these 2 enemies will evolve and enter the professional level. Later, Lin Qing asked the fossil pterosaur to call Latios' family over. When Latios saw the 4 Dragon Kings, he wanted to fight 4 of them. If it wasn't for his wife Latios shooting a destructive death ray at him, the fight would have started now. The one-eyed Dragonite looked at Latios with an angry face. His eyes were blinded by the opponent's dragon god's dive. If he hadn't dodged, he would have died. Latios also felt the anger of the one-eyed Dragonite and flew over to release a healing wave. The Dragonite's eyes were miraculously healed. Lin Qing took out the 4 Super Evolution Stones that had been agreed upon before and gave them to the 4 Dragon Kings with a look of relief. The 4 Dragon Kings also reached a consensus with the Latios family that they would no longer go to their U-shaped island to steal the drops of heart. The dragons valued credit very much, so Lin Qing was more relieved. After the 4 Dragon Kings took their dragons back, only Lin Qing and the Latios family were left. Lin Qing looked at the Latios cub next to him with a suggestive look on his face. Anyone with a discerning eye could see what that meant. Chapter 71. Latios also understood what Lin Qing meant, and she pushed the smaller Latios forward. Go, child, follow this dragon son, you won't have to work as hard as your mother in the future. Woo, woo. The Latios next to him also looked uncomfortable. He had only one child for so many years, but he also knew that this might be the best for her. If it stays here, it will be summoned back by the tribe when it grows up, and then sent to other places to guard other drops of heart forever until it dies. It's better to let it live a happy life. Lin Qing was a little surprised and thought, what does this Latios mean by saying dragon breath on the left and dragon sun on the right? At this time, the Latios flew over, changing its previous arrogant face. Boy, I'll entrust my daughter to you, you should be nice to my daughter. As long as you are nice to my daughter, I don't want anything from you. Lin Qing listened to Latios' words with a confused face. Why is it so familiar? If you dare to treat my daughter badly, no matter where you run, I will break your legs. Lin Qing stretched his neck back. Wait, how does this plot seem like marrying a daughter? This dog wants to be my father-in-law. Latios, who read Lin Qing's thoughts, obviously had a flickering look in his eyes. He slowly flew to Lin Qing's side, and then carefully looked back at his wife and daughter. As if asking Lin Qing for a gift in private, he stretched out his hand and made a gesture of taking it in front of Lin Qing. Fuck, what do you want? Money. Lin Qing was also confused. What the hell was going on? The beast was selling his daughter. Don't show off. Those 4 loaches all have super evolution stones, where's mine? And my wife's. Hurry, don't let my wife find out. Give it to me quickly. Lin Qing looked at the old man Latios with a confused face, and was convinced. 5 minutes later, Latios also greeted her daughter, and then Latios touched his daughter's head with a fatherly and kind face, and pushed it towards Lin Qing. Lin Qing, who was confused, took out a high-level ball very calmly and put Latios in it. Latios flew to the sea with tears in his eyes and started to use skills randomly, as if to vent his reluctance to his daughter. Then he took out 2 super evolution stones and compared them with Lin Qing again. At this time, Lin Qing's heart had changed. He originally thought that the mythical beasts were very sacred. Now looking at the old man Latios, he always felt that the guy was brainless. Human, take good care of our daughter. She is only 1 month old and is quite playful, but I believe in you. Leave here, the exit here will be closed soon. Okay, don't worry, I will treat her well. Lin Qing released little Latios, and then rode her directly towards the entrance. Little Latios looked back at her parents behind her with a look of grievance, and then closed her eyes and left. Please take care of me in the future, Latios, my name is Lin Qing. Woo, woo. Lin Qing gently stroked her head to comfort her, and then was also frightened by the other party's qualification level. This is a 1-month-old 2nd-level god. So perverted. Latios. Category: Infinite Elf. Attribute: Dragon, Psychic. Qualification: Low-level Master. Skills: Invisibility, Transformation, Mind Communication, Visual Sharing, Healing Wish, Acting Coquettish, Help, Blessing, Spirit Wave, Mysterious Guardian, Dragon Wave. Features: Floating, will not be harmed by any ground attribute attack, ignores any ground entry damage skills such as poison spikes, sticky nets, etc. This 1-month-old is already a master level. I will be the champion in the future. Lin Qing is already dazzled by the number of skills, and what's more explosive is that Lin Qing now has all these skills. Every man has fantasized about a magical skill, invisibility. What about invisibility to the women's toilet, bathhouse? Wrong word, the previous paragraph. What about invisibility to punish evil, to kill the rockets, etc., is definitely every man's dream. Lin Qing tried to transform again, closed his eyes and started to think about his wife's appearance, and then turned into Sharona. It scared Tang Yuehua behind him. What are you doing? You scared me to death. How come you suddenly become a different person? Tang Yuehua was still thinking about how to go home and tell her parents that she hadn't been home for 8 or 9 days in a row. Sorry. Latios carried the 2 of them and continued to fly towards the exit. But what they didn't know was that the exit was already full of people, almost all of whom were looking for him. It had been 8 days since Saronish hadn't seen Lin Qing, and he didn't reply to her phone calls. After many investigations, she found out that Lin Qing had gone to the Elf Hunter Center before, and then came here. Lin Qing's mother Huo Sha was also very worried. She had been waiting here with 2 men for several days. She also wanted to tell her son that she was already a shareholder of Longye Company, Limited. Yulongdu also brought people here. He was worried that tomorrow would be the last day. If the boy didn't come out, he would rescue him tomorrow, because their lives were saved by Lin Qing. Just when they were still worried, Lin Qing and Tang Yuehua walked out slowly. Latios must not be released. He had already put it away. Son, husband. When Lin Qing just came out, Huo Sha and Sharona rushed over with a worried look on their faces. Lin Qing was slightly stunned. He looked at the 2 women, and from the slightly dark circles under their eyes, he could tell that they definitely didn't get enough rest these days. He was negligent. Sorry, mom, wife. I made you worry. It's good that you're back. Let mom see, it seems that you're tanned. Husband, that woman. Sharona saw Tang Yuehua behind her, and she was also stunned. Could it be that this woman and her husband stayed here for 8 or 9 days? The 2 of them. When Tang Yuehua saw Lin Qing's mother and Sharona together, the previous conjecture was instantly shattered, and she no longer thought that they were lying to her. Suddenly, she felt empty in her heart. Looking embarrassed, she quickly bowed to them and said, Okay. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Sharona looked at the woman who walked away with some doubts, as if she saw a trace of sadness in her eyes. At this time, Yulongdu came over with a team of people, and said with a look of relief, "Young man. Well done. The Alliance will remember you for this great achievement. This is for you. Thank you for resolving this crisis." Then a law enforcement team member came over holding a platform, with a very respectful expression. Lin Qing looked at the things on the platform in a daze, not knowing what it meant. Yulongdu lifted the red cloth on the platform, and a small golden book and a golden badge suddenly appeared in front of Lin Qing. "Young man, this is the Qingliu City Honorary Citizen Badge and Honorary Youth Certificate." Yulongdu introduced it with excitement and pride. But Lin Qing had already hugged Sharona and called his mother back. "I'll cook tonight. Make some garlic paste. You've worked hard these days." If he bailed these people out, the Alliance would give him a good citizen certificate. That's it. Thinking of this, Lin Qing pretended not to hear what Du said and quickened his pace. Yulongdu behind him was confused. "This idiot. Young man, don't regret it. This is the highest honor for young people in Qingliu City. This certificate can exempt you from the death penalty once within 3 years. It is equivalent to a gold medal for immunity from death. Are you sure you don't want it?" Lin Qing was stunned when he heard this, and his face changed instantly. "Ha ha ha, Heavenly King, you are joking. I was joking with you." So Lin Qing came back happily. Then Yulongdu also left a phone number with the young man, asking Lin Qing to tell him if he heard any news about the heart drop in the future. Lin Qing nodded repeatedly and promised again and again. If he saw the heart drop, he would definitely send it to the Heavenly King. In this way, the group finally left the dragon's secret realm. And when Lin Qing was going home, he suddenly discovered a problem. That is, his mother Huosha actually took a car with him and Sharona. "Mom, you won't go back to Dad's tonight?" Lin Qing asked with a puzzled look on his face. He looked at Sharona's sometimes smiling and sometimes not smiling appearance, and he always felt that something was wrong. Huosha said calmly, "I'm tired of staying at home recently, so I came to live with you for a few days. Haven't you told me where you got the money to buy the villa?" "Ah, this is what my wife bought for me." Lin Qing dodged with an embarrassed look on his face. He felt that he couldn't let his mother know so much now. Sharona next to him was also very calm, sometimes smiling and sometimes not. Lin Qing always felt that something was wrong. "No. There is definitely a problem. I have Latias's people now, you want to hide it from me." Lin Qing pretended to be a little tired, and fell on Sharona's legs and closed his eyes to sleep. Then he silently activated Latias's skill, telepathy. "You actually took another woman to the secret realm for so many days. Are you so happy? What, you ran away when you saw me? Ha ha, his mother is here. I can't get angry. Wait. Wait for me. Let's see if there is anyone who can sterilize him tomorrow. Find a chance to do it. Otherwise, when the time comes." The more Lin Qing understood Sharona's heart, the more horrible he felt. He slept with his head on Sharona's legs. His face was now covered with sweat, and Sharona's black stockings were wet. "What's wrong? Is your husband hot? You sweat so much." Feeling her legs wet, Sharona greeted her kindly. Her eyes were like crescents, and she looked very gentle. After Lin Qing opened her eyes slightly, she quickly closed them again. After swallowing subconsciously, she said, "It's true. It's a bit hot. What should I do? Fuck. I said that I have been hatching eggs and giving birth to children for a group of flying dragons in Phylong Valley for 8 days. Will she believe it? Will she believe me if I say I didn't do anything to that woman in the past 8 days?" Just when Lin Qing was thinking about how to save himself, the driver stopped the car. "Madam, we're here." Lin Qing was slightly stunned. Why did this voice sound so familiar? He looked up. He was dumbfounded at the time. Wasn't this Xie Wanwan who had an in-depth discussion with Lin Qing about life in a sports car at 200 miles per hour that day? Could it be that? Lin Qing was about to use telepathy to peek into the other person's heart, but Sharona pulled him over. "Come on, husband, I'll show you our new home." Lin Qing had a bad premonition at the time. "I saw the female bodyguard standing at the door. The tight leather skirts were shiny, with 2 white thighs exposed outside, and then a pair of very slender black high-heeled leather boots. It looked with a hint of coolness. It made Lin Qing a little dry in the mouth. He remembered that these women were wearing a lot of clothes before. Behind them were the maids wearing white and black silk stockings. Lin Qing seemed to feel that he was a little impatient. Something was wrong. Then he looked at the living room with a confused face. Sisters Su Qinyan and Su Tianyan were watching TV on the sofa. And Mary was cutting a fruit platter on the side. Ah, what's going on? I think this house is too big. I'm afraid to live alone, so I called them all here. You shouldn't mind, right, husband? Shi Luona said with a harmless face, which made Lin Qing nervous. So Lin Qing started to try to read Sharona's thoughts again, and he was shocked at the time. Find someone to castrate him tomorrow, let him look at these women every day, and quench his thirst. Ha ha, if you don't want to live a good life, then let's see who is more cruel. Lin Qing, who read this, didn't care who was outside, and directly hugged Sharona and ran towards the room. With the idea of ending the grudge with one shot, it's not. I must have a good talk with her. Entering the room, he released Latius. Latius, communicate with your mind. Tell her what I have been doing in the past 8 days. Quick. Sharona looked at this phantom elf in a bit of surprise, and then her thoughts were taken over. 10 minutes later, Sharona still looked at Lin Qing with an unhappy face, and there was still a great resentment in her heart, which made Lin Qing unable to raise his head for a long time. You can only take me with you when you go to the secret realm in the future. If you dare to take other women with you, I will castrate you. Yes, yes. Also, if you dare to touch any of these women at home, I will castrate you anyway. Yes, yes. Lin Qing agreed with a confused look on his face, and began to think in his heart, I can't play with you like this, calling a group of women and only letting them look but not touch, this is unbearable for anyone. Lin Qing looked at Sharona again, and then looked downstairs, and he began to think at that time. You are unkind, don't blame me for being unjust. You make me uncomfortable, I will make all the women in the room uncomfortable. You asked for it. So, Lin Qing, who had originally told his subordinates that they would have dinner together tonight, forcibly dragged Sharona to the bedroom and stayed there from 4 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning. We don't know what happened specifically. It's just that the people watching TV in the living room downstairs were originally quite harmonious, but some of them felt their cheeks flushed and their eyes blurred when they heard some noises. Sharona, who originally wanted to defeat Lin Qing, was defeated instead. Lin Qing, who already had the physical fitness of a master elf, is no longer the same as before. That night, no one fell asleep. The next morning, Sharona smiled bitterly. She was just angry yesterday. It was just a rage in her heart. It wouldn't really matter. But he was sure that Sharona was angry. He said he would go to bed when he calmed down. I don't know if he drank fake wine. It's too much. In fact, Sharona has been thinking about a problem these days, which is the matter of Lin Qing and the girl from the Su family. She also knows that in their era, it is not uncommon for rich people to marry several wives. Lin Qing's father has 2 wives. Now Lin Qing has set up his own business. With his current wealth, I'm afraid he can find a better woman. Instead of oppressing him, it's better. And he has always had me in his heart, and my mother-in-law has been here these days. Otherwise, husband, I know you can't bear to really ignore them in your heart. Do you think that if I weren't there, you can marry dozens of wives at a time? No, no, I don't want to do those things. I was sorry for the 2 sisters at the beginning. I think the 2 sisters from the Su family should be planning to follow you forever. Their parents came yesterday, and I talked to them, chatted for a while. Quote. Lin Qing was stunned when he heard this. He didn't expect that the parents would really come to the door. Lin Qing silently lit a cigarette, slowly exhaled and said, I'm sorry, wife. It's okay, I know some things. Let's marry them together in the future. But, I have the final say on the concubines at home. Quote, quote. Go and prepare. Your mother will be back this afternoon. Let's have lunch together at noon. Invite the 2 sisters from the Su family. Lin Qing smiled bitterly. For so long, he didn't explain to the 2 girls. Later, it was his wife, Sharona, who was considerate of him. At noon that day, Huo Sha, Lin Qing, Sirona, Su Tianyan, and Su Qinyan, 5 people sat in the restaurant eating the dishes made by Lin Qing. Huo Sha looked at her son with a playful look. He already had 3 wives, which was really unusual. He also persuaded the first wife to take a concubine. From today on, we are a family. Yanyan and Yinyan, if you two have any problems in the future, tell me. We still know a lot of friends in Qingliu City. Su Tianyan raised her wine glass in a panic and toasted Huo Sha. Ah. Auntie, please take care of me. Huo Sha looked at the clumsy Su Tianyan in astonishment. She was quite likable and should be devoted to her son. It's just that, the rules at the dinner table seem a bit. Lin Qing was an experienced businessman in his previous life. He immediately saw his mother's doubts and hurriedly took the wine glass and shouted, "Ha ha ha. Happy today, let's have a drink together." Huo Sha looked at Lin Qing with a playful look. He protected her before entering the house. He was not afraid of Nana getting angry. She didn't want to care so much, but she didn't make such low-level mistakes in the business world in the future. "Come, Nana, this is for you, take it. And Yanyan and Yinyan, you two also have some," Huo Sha said as she took out a set of jewelry, a total of 3 top-quality jade bracelets. This is carved from a piece of raw stone. The whole set is called Tongxin Tong. You 3 sisters each have one. First gave it to Sharona, Tianyan, and Qinyan, looked at each other, and then said with concern, "Nana, I'll trouble you to take care of it in the future. There are more people at home." "I know, Mom, don't worry." After a series of operations, Sharona's family status was nailed there. Su Tianyan and Su Qinyan stood behind with a nervous look on their faces. "Hey, it's okay, Mom, come and eat." Lin Qing smiled wickedly. This mother is really worried. She gave a lesson to the other 2 daughters-in-law right away. After the family of 5 finished eating, Lin Qing and the others also sent Huo Sha to the car. The matter of the Su sisters was perfectly resolved. "Let's go, sisters." Sharona looked at the 2 sisters who were still a little reserved behind her, and changed her serious expression. "Oh, now that the mother-in-law is gone, let's be more casual. We will be family in the future. Don't be so serious. This afternoon, sister will take you to eat the best ice cream in Qingliu City," Sharona said as she pulled the 2 sisters to the house, and then looked at Lin Qing with some hints in her eyes. Lin Qing also understood, and it seemed that his wife had also learned the essence of her mother. This set of sets. Then Lin Qing called the bodyguards and servants at home and told them about this matter. The people below were also very smart and shouted directly, "Hello, Madam Lin Madam Lin San." The 2 sisters Su Tianyan shouted lightly. Later, Sharona gave them each a card, and she would be responsible for distributing the money in the inner room of the family in the future. "Is there nothing to do now? I'm going to train. Xiaosha and the others should be evolving soon." Lin Qing, who was almost done, shouted excitedly. With 2 more wives, the family is still in harmony. Isn't this worth being happy about? You go ahead. With me in the company, there won't be any trouble. By the way, the Qingliu City League will start in a few days. Students from 4 universities will participate. We will go there. The winning prize is an extremely rare Pokémon. Okay, your husband will win it back for you," Lin Qing said with a satisfied look on his face, and then he thought of another question. What kind of elves are these 2 little wives of his? Later, Lin Qing let them both out, and they were so bad that they were suffocating. Su Tianyan is a mid-level amateur tadpole, and Su Qinyan is a high-level amateur Pikachu. What's that expression on your face? We spent a lot of effort to get them. Do you think it's easy for ordinary people to become trainers? A bag of Pokémon food costs several thousand. Okay, I heard that you gave all the money you earned to your father. Has he paid back the money he lost from starting a company? If not today or tomorrow, I will pay him back. It's almost paid back. Don't ask us for money all the time. Just call my father to say hello. It's more effective than giving money," Su Tianyan said with an indignant look. Su Qinyan, why do I feel that giving money is more effective? Later, Lin Qing chose 1 Pokémon for each of them from the Pokémon he had captured before. Su Tianyan chose an elite Squirtle, and Su Qinyan chose an elite Torch. Then Lin Qing came to their basement alone. Looking at the 4 training grounds with different environments, Lin Qing smiled slightly. This place is really good. 4 grounds. Desert, lawn, pool, and rock. Come out. Little shark, baby dragon, hoo-hoo, Latias. Lin Qing deliberately threw the 2 guys farther away to avoid a fight when they met. This time there was indeed no fight, but as soon as Little Shark came out, he imitated the "take it" gesture of Latios, which surprised Lin Qing. I forgot to buy a mobile phone for this guy. Lin Qing nodded and said, okay, you contributed last time, I will definitely buy it for you. Let me introduce you now, this is Latias, he will be our partner in the future. Woo, Latias smiled and greeted them, his eyes narrowed into crescents, looking very happy. Several elves raised their hands to signal. Okay, let's start practicing skills today. Little Shark, practice double cleavage and dragon claws. Prepare for evolution. I know you will have your own understanding and ideas, and try to use your advantages as much as possible. I need you to be able to release dragon claws and double cleavage together. You can definitely do it. Baby dragon, you practice ghost face, just practice this one. I will buy you a skill disc. If you learn this skill, it will be very useful to you and me. It can directly scare low-level opponents. Hoo-hoo, you are responsible for producing tree fruit juice rich in dragon energy for them. I will give you tree fruit. Then supervise them, if anyone is lazy, tell me. And act as a guard, if someone else comes to harass you, you press the alarm. Quote. Latias, I have seen your current skills. You lack powerful output skills and are not proficient in using them. This will be put in the second stage. Now your focus is to improve your physical strength. I will customize a set of weight-bearing armor for you. Try to improve your speed and physical fitness as much as possible. Your first step is to reach and surpass the strength of your father. Quote. I will not put you into the Pokeball for the next half month. You will come here for special training every day, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, and rest at night. Can you do it? Quote. After getting the replies from a group of Pokémons, Lin Qing was also relieved. I hope everything goes well. It should be almost time to pick up Charmander. It's been more than 20 days. Go pick up Charmander first, and then buy a mobile phone for Little Shark, otherwise this guy will ask you for it every day and it will wear you down. Thinking of this, Lin Qing looked at the time. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He looked at the 3 elves who had already entered the training. Lin Qing also bought some food and milk from the Universal Store and put them behind the pot that produced juice. After leaving the underground training ground, Lin Qing looked around and saw that there was no one around. He directly activated Latias's skill of invisibility and began to try to fly to the sky with her floating characteristics. As his feet became lighter, Lin Qing staggered and almost fell. Then he tilted his body forward and backward to maintain balance. He slowly mastered the balance from the initial unskilledness. 10 minutes later, Lin Qing flew to the sky with an excited face in his invisibility. Originally thought that flying to the sky would be very cold, but his physical strength was here, and now he was excited and excited. Looking at the direction of the breeding house, Lin Qing flew over suddenly at a very fast speed. And the little Charmander that had been placed in the breeding house for more than 20 days had evolved into a Charmeleon 2 days ago, and its level had reached the low-level professional level. From the original qualification that had declined to amateur level due to malnutrition, after being nursed back to its original state by this breeding house, it evolved to professional level. 1.2 million alliance coins, it can be said that this breeding house is really conscientious. After the fire dinosaur saw Lin Qing coming in from outside, it also shouted twice in excitement. You are here, how is it? I didn't lie to you. Now it has evolved, and the body has undergone amazing changes. You can be happy when you go back. The uncle in the breeding house looked at Lin Qing coming over and said with a proud face. Lin Qing also understood and looked at the current fire dinosaur. Fire dinosaur qualification. Low-level professional level. Skills. Smoke, flame teeth, jet flame, flame vortex, dragon breath, grab, split. Features. Water attraction, attract water attribute moves to yourself, ignoring the damage, and providing your own special attack. After that, Lin Qing clasped his fist to express his gratitude to the breeder, and then bought a fireball from the Universal Store and took this reverse attribute giant into it. Boy, treat every Pokemon well. This is the advice of a breeder who has taken care of countless Pokemon for 50 years. If you treat them sincerely, they will respond to you more sincerely. Go. I hope that next time you come to me, it's not to recuperate a Pokémon. Haha. Okay. I will bring good tea to visit you when I have time, thank you, senior. Lin Qing said and left. After leaving the breeding house, Lin Qing went directly to the Jingdong Direct store. This is a small company that his company Longye Company Limited bought before, specializing in selling Pokémon's electronic equipment and electrical appliances. Lin Qing saw a salesperson asking with anticipation, "Hello. I want to buy a mobile phone for Pokémon. Sorry, IWE don't have elf phones here, we have elf game consoles here, would you like to see them?" The receptionist said with an embarrassed look, and then pointed to the counter on the right. Lin Qing looked at those game consoles that seemed to develop intelligence, and smiled helplessly. If he bought this back for that guy to play, he would drop it in a minute. Lower its IQ. Later, Lin Qing simply bought an elderly touchscreen phone. The buttons are big, the sound is very loud, and it is drop-proof and waterproof. The most important thing is that the subtitles of this elderly phone are very big, Xiaoxia should be able to play it, right? But Lin Qing still seriously underestimated the IQ of that fool. Before Lin Qing and his family moved, one day the internet was disconnected at home. In order to watch Shippuden, Xiaoxia cracked the Wi-Fi next door. God knows what method he used. Lin Qing, who had no idea, was now walking to the underground training ground with the newly bought mobile phone. "Husband, come to eat. Let the elves take a break, they have been training for an afternoon." Quote. Just when Lin Qing put the old touchscreen mobile phone she bought on the table in the training ground, Su Qinyan was shouting in the distance. Lin Qing also followed her to eat happily. When Xiaoxia saw the mobile phone on the table, he looked dazed, and didn't know what he was thinking. Then he took out the instruction manual, read it from beginning to end, and threw it away. Turn on the phone, set up face recognition, and it was successful. Open the settings, find the Wi-Fi named Lin Family Courtyard, enter the password, and then open the web page and start browsing. After a while, I was eating with Latias next to me. Baby Dragon, who was looking for something, looked at the little shark who was staring at his phone with a puzzled look on his face. Something was wrong today. Normally, this bear would be the first to grab the food when the meal started. He was afraid that others would drink more soup. Why is he so quiet today? Something was wrong. Absolutely something was wrong. Thinking of this, Baby Dragon sneaked up on the round land shark who was browsing the phone from behind. When it approached and saw the content on the phone, the food in its hand fell directly to the ground. It seemed to have seen something incredible. Little shark seemed to have not noticed the baby dragon, and was still watching by himself. It seemed like he was exploring some new world. Ever since the night when Lin Qing and Sirona got their marriage certificate and returned home, Little Shark was curious about what they were doing in the room that night. Little Shark, who had been watching the TV series for so long, naturally understood something through some plot. With an extremely pure desire for knowledge, it entered the URL of the small advertisement that popped up when watching TV before. As soon as it opened the URL, it saw some very serious dramas. The complete series of Gardevoir anthropomorphism, the unknown story of Sister Lip and Monster Power, the mother monster power targeted by the boss, special training with the water elf while the wife is not at home, the magical use of the tentacles of the vine monster, and the top-grade Ditto that can transform into 36D. There are many links to online casinos and large print advertisements for various special medicines. After Latias, who had just joined them, had eaten and drunk enough, he also noticed the two standing aside, the round land shark and the baby dragon who didn't even care about eating. They seemed to be watching something interesting. Latias, who also had a little curiosity, flew over. Then the Charmeleon who had just adjusted his body. In the end, the pot was responsible for supervising them. The five elves looked at each other, and then looked at the screen together, as if they had reached a consensus. Lin Qing, who was having dinner with Sharona and Su Tianyan upstairs, could never have imagined it in his dreams. The spiritual level of his Pokémon has completely transformed now, and no one knows what he has learned from the various moves and plots. Su Qinyan, who had just finished her meal, pulled Lin Qing excitedly and said, "Husband, you and Sister Nana are so powerful, you can also teach me and my sister, we don't know how to train Pokémon." Well, the Fire Chickadee and Squirtle you two chose later are both the 3 starter Pokémons, and their potential must be very good. I will take you to special training later, teach you the training methods and tell you a few weather teams and other lineups. You consider how to build the team later. Lin Qing said calmly, and at this time Su Tianyan asked with some confusion, Ah Qing, are your elves still in special training? They are really hardworking. Lin Qing grinned with a proud face and said, someone told me before that the personalities of elves are all like their masters. I am so hardworking, they must have learned a lot. Hee hee, are you full? If you are full, I will take you to see them downstairs. I have indeed learned a lot. After dinner, Lin Qing took the sisters Su Qinyan and Su Tianyan to the underground training center, while Sharona went to the swimming pool in the yard. She planned to let her melodic practice water waves there. Along the way, Lin Qing proudly told his 2 wives about the advantages of his elves, such as the very smart little shark, the love of protecting the weak baby dragon, and the innocent and kind Latias. The 2 sisters believed what he said along the way. But when they walked to the door of the underground training center, Su Qinyan seemed to hear some strange sounds. Did you hear any strange sounds? Su Tianyan also stretched his ears to listen, as if there was some sound, as if it was a strange cry, but it didn't seem to be, it always felt a little strange. Lin Qing hadn't reacted at the time, and walked down with his wife with a confident look. When Lin Qing pushed open the door, he saw 5 elves gathered together, as if looking at something. Could it be the skill disc he prepared for them? But at this moment, Xiaoxia clicked on the phone, as if it was a button to play the next episode. In an instant, the whole hall was surrounded by a melody that Lin Qing felt familiar with, a piece of music that had been engraved in his bones in his previous life. Then, from Xiaoxia's phone, there were bursts of strange cries of unknown creatures, and there seemed to be women's cries. Because it is a touchscreen phone for the elderly, in order to take care of the elderly's hearing loss, the volume of this phone is very high. A word, Damai, resounded through the world, and the word was echoing throughout the training ground. Su Tianyan and Su Qinyan were stunned. Did Lin Qing let the elves train by watching these? Is this a new training method to break through the elves' levels? Lin Qing behind was already numb. He snatched the phone from Xiaoxia's hand with an angry face, and he was in a bad mood. This Diao shark, he is not a good guy himself, but he will lead others astray. Latias is a girl. Shameless, really shameless. But at this moment, Lin Qing's 5 elves all raised their hands to protest, which meant it seems to be talking about the exciting part he just saw. Lin Qing grinned with an annoyed face. These guys, are they addicted to it? Little Shark howled unwillingly, and then wrote on the ground with a stone, "Give me back my phone." A visible vein on Lin Qing's head suddenly bulged, and the other elves ran away when they saw it. Lin Qing looked at the little shark who was grinning and asking for a phone and recalled that this guy had stolen his phone to order takeout, then watched TV, and then practiced his thing every day, and now he was actually watching these things. If you say it's not a human, who would believe it? But if he told others, who would believe it? Lin Qing was so confused that he screamed, "Monster! Show your true form," and then fought with Little Shark. He must teach this idiot a lesson today, so that all his elves will not become LSPs in the future. At that time, I really don't know what will happen. When the little shark saw that the other party didn't give it the phone, it went berserk on the spot and wanted to tear Lin Qing apart. Who can bear it when you suddenly snatched it away while watching it? Who can bear it? Show yourself, monster. Take my trick. Quicksand hell. Lin Qing howled and attacked the little shark. And the little shark was even more ruthless than Lin Qing, and directly used a ground-shattering star. While using the big skill, he also howled, "Ah, ah, ah," as if he was stimulated by something. Look at how anxious the child is, he is not afraid of being suffocated. But Lin Qing, whose strength has risen to the master level, the little shark naturally can't beat him. Its ground-shattering star was directly smashed by Lin Qing's fierce attack, and it was trapped in the quicksand hell. But just when Lin Qing thought he had won, the little shark trapped in the sand went berserk again. Ah! Lin Qing looked at the sand in astonishment, and was instantly shattered by Little Shark's unknown attack. Lin Qing didn't know what was going on. Little Shark's second round of attack came over. In order to watch the movie, it seemed that he was about to break through the limit of his body. Lin Qing was confused. Wow, is this guy going to evolve? To steal the phone. Just then, Lin saw the little shark waving his two short hands wildly in order to grab the phone. It seemed that there were two blue light dragon claws on its hands, and it was waving wildly. Lin Qing looked at the little shark dancing in the same place with some surprise, and saw several energy slashes slowly appearing in front of it. Is this a dragon claw? And a double slash. Lin Qing looked at the energy slash that was constantly gathering in some surprise. Why was it different from the moves he expected? This was obviously a bit beyond common sense. How could those double slashes stop at the little shark? Lin Qing subconsciously opened the mind communication of Latius, trying to find out what the little shark was thinking. Ola oola oola oola. When Lin Qing heard Xiaoxia's idea, he was also shocked. Could this be the wind phantom slash of that character? Wow. Just then Xiaoxia roared, "Go to hell, shark." Then with a fierce chop and a push, a large group of double chop energy slash rushed towards Lin Qing, and the entire ground was rubbed out countless smoke and dust. With this kind of superimposed attack, professional level elves would probably be killed directly. Nima, do you want to rebel? Lin Qing also began to exert force and flew directly into the sky, avoiding Xiaoxia's newly realized skills. Then Lin Qing also began to gather his earth-shattering star. In an instant, the entire competition venue roared, and countless gravel and stones began to be sucked towards Xiaoxia. Su Tianyan and Su Qinyan next to him were both shocked. What kind of hatred was this? And Sharona, who was training upstairs, also felt a little vibration. She came down with Melodic with a worried look on her face. The more Lin Qing probed into Little Shark's heart, the more he felt that this guy was a little abnormal. Little Shark, I have Azure Dragon on my left, White Tiger on my right, a Rayquaza on my waist and a Groudon on my chest. I'll kill any god who stands in my way. How could I be trapped by a mere Chibaku Tensai? Ah, Lin Qing cursed angrily. Shabi, what are you yelling about? Then he increased his strength and tried to hold this guy down. Just then, Sharona came over with Melodic. When Melodic and May saw Little Shark, they immediately ran over excitedly. Completely ignored the tricks they kept gathering. Lin Qing was stunned. Little Shark was also stunned. Is there any help here? But Little Shark didn't think so. He had remembered the fear of being sterilized by ugly fish that day. Both sides stopped at that time. Lin Qing felt that if he attacked again, Melodic would come and beat him up in a minute. When Little Shark saw Melodic running towards him with an excited look on his face, he was so scared that he wanted to run away. You two, stop it, Sharona yelled angrily. Seeing the good training ground was messed up by these two bears, she was furious. Cleaning it up. Who's doing it? Try it. Lin Qing swallowed subconsciously because he saw his wife Sarona's hair flying in anger again. Little Shark didn't dare to attack anymore. Now he was tightly entangled by Melodic and was very happy. Lin Qing looked at the other elves speechlessly. He was afraid that these elves would also learn bad things from this evildoer. He tried to understand their thoughts through telepathy. Baby Dragon's mind is full of two words now, Damai. Damai. Latius's mind is fine. He just thinks it's interesting to watch the phone with them, but he doesn't have any strange thoughts. Charmeleon is a bit problematic. It's a bit angry now. It keeps spraying jets of flames at the stone over there, a bit angry. And Hoo-Hoo's mind is full of the tentacles of the vine monster. It seems to be entangled with a Gardevoir, and then Hoo-Hoo also looked at his hands, gesturing something there. Lin Qing lit a cigarette with a look of despair. What did he say just now? The elf follows the master. If you don't give Xiaoxia a phone, it will make trouble for you. Give it a phone. Thinking of this, Lin Qing subconsciously took out Xiaoxia's old touchscreen phone and pressed the switch. Still need to scan the face. This fool. So Lin Qing took the phone to the little shark that was entangled by the Minos, swiped his shark face in the other's desperate eyes, and unlocked the password. Open the settings, find the adolescent health reading mode, set the second level password. As long as you don't look at that kind of website, you can play it as you like. The baby dragon next to him was still there with his mouth open, learning the pronunciation of Damai. I don't know what he is learning this sentence for. It's amazing. Don't learn it. Did you learn it for your little red? You are a male. Male. Lin Qing cursed angrily, wanting to after thinking about it, he put away all the elves. This little shark must be trained in a single room in the future. This is a disaster. The identification is complete. Lin Qing's side is temporarily calm, but the sisters Su Qinyan and Su Tianyan, who just witnessed the whole process, are not calm. They looked at each other, thinking about what Lin Qing just said, that the elves follow their masters, and then looked at Lin Qing again. The two sisters seemed to be planning something. There seemed to be a hint of conspiracy in their eyes. Pika ping, Pika pong, Pika soldiers. Just then, Lin Qing's phone rang. Lin Qing subconsciously answered it. It was Yi Su who called. At that time, Lin Qing was a little thoughtful. Was the matter he told them to do. As soon as the phone was connected, Yi Su screamed and shouted, "Boss! It's done. We got a bottle of Master Lin Tiancheng's urine, and then paid a doctor to do a paternity test in front of Yi Zimei. Now she has given up investigating whether you are the master's biological son." "Oh, well done," Lin Qing said and was about to hang up the phone. "Wait, boss. We have important news. We stole the urine of Amy Yip's son Lin Baiwei again. And then secretly did an identification. Guess what? Lin Baiwei is not Lin Tiancheng's biological son." "Absolutely true." Lin Qing was confused. "Wait, my mind is a little confused, are you sure?" "Absolutely true. We squatted in the toilet for 3 hours. It was definitely Lin Baiwei's own urine. We watched him pee." "Ah, okay, good job. Let me think about it, and I'll get back to you tonight." After hanging up the phone, Lin Qing continued to smoke. It seemed that Amy Yip was guilty of being a thief, and the thief cried out to catch the thief. That's why she couldn't wait to investigate Lin Qing. This Lin Tiancheng is also a ruthless person. Both of his sons are not his own. He should be the biggest victim in this novel. Lin Qing looked at the paternity test report sent to him by Yi Su on his mobile phone and laughed. "Auntie, Amy Yip, if that's the case, then I'm sorry. Ha 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 ha." Finally, there was something that made Lin Qing happy. He had already thought of a way to get Amy Yip off the stage. The plot is starting to get weird. Ha 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 ha. Lin Qing squatted there and laughed like he had cerebral palsy. Sharona was speechless when she saw Lin Qing squatting there like he had a stroke, then waved to Su Qinyan and the others and took them out. At the headquarters building of Longye Company Limited, Huo Sha was sitting in her office, looking at the performance of the past few days, with a worried look on her face. After she became a shareholder of this company, she would think about a question every day. Who is the boss of Longye Company Limited? Why did he give her 10% of the shares and never show up until now? And the executive director named Ni Union never told her. From that day on, Huo Sha felt that the boss behind Longye must have taken a fancy to her. She originally wanted to get out of the Lin family as soon as possible, but now she is a little worried. While she was still thinking about what to do in the future, Ni Union knocked on the door and came in. As soon as Ni Union came in, she took a document and said respectfully, "Mr. Huo. The boss is here with a task. He said that you know someone from the archaeological family, the Zailuo family. The boss wants to establish a cooperative relationship with the Zailuo family. What do you think?" Huo Sha was silent. The Zailuo family is the family of her daughter-in-law. Did the boss of the Longye Empire do this from the beginning? "I don't know anyone from the Zailuo family. You can find someone else." Huo Sha thought about it and directly refused. Ni Union was also well prepared. She silently took out an envelope, then smiled faintly and slowly retreated. Huo Sha was slightly stunned and took the envelope nervously. When she opened it, her eyes widened and a suffocating feeling came over her. She was still whispering, "Zailuo family." Ni Union, who was leaving, also replied with her mobile phone, "Boss, the things have been given, good. I know, I will. And the Yi family. Okay, boss, I will. I will make an appointment with Yi Zimei in the afternoon." After hanging up the phone, Ni Union was also full of admiration. How could this boss eat up his father's industry and the Yi family's industry? Wouldn't the other party bite back? At present, the foundation of Longye Company Limited is still unstable. Because it is a new company, many people do not have a strong sense of belonging. Or, are there other arrangements? Thinking of this, Ni Union sighed in confusion, looking at the finance department downstairs thoughtfully. In the past few months, Lin Tiancheng has become an ant on the hot pot, and the company's stock has been falling. Since Longye Company Limited came to Qingliu City, the other party is like a vicious snake, directly buying off the upstream and downstream enterprises of the Lin family. Both the elf department store industry and the elf service industry have been hit hard. Today, two of its subsidiaries have sold their companies to Longye Company Limited, and the chairman has run away. Who is behind this Longye? Go check it out. Which fool? Lin Tiancheng angrily pushed all the documents on the table down. The secretary next to him was scared and didn't dare to speak. Yizime beside him also looked flustered, as if she had something on her mind. Then she looked at Lin Tiancheng and said, Tiancheng, do you think it could be someone from Longxing Company Limited in Jinling City? I remember that your father had some conflicts with the Long family before. Lin Tiancheng looked at the map of Wu State and was thoughtful. It was really possible. Back then, his father had some friction with the Long family in Jinling City. It seemed that he had done something to the Long family's wife. Thinking of this, Lin Tiancheng was also helpless. Now their funds have been broken and they can only rely on the Zailuo family for help. As long as he gets through this week, he is sure to win back a game. At this time, Yizume's mobile phone suddenly rang, and she subconsciously took out her mobile phone. It was an email with a photo in it, which was the paternity test of Lin Baiwei and Lin Tiancheng. Yizume stayed there at that time. Who is it? Who discovered her secret? Then another text message came. Mrs. Lin, tonight, let's go to room 1061 of the Honglang Club. If you dare to bring other people, the paternity test will be known to the world tomorrow. Yizume panicked at that time. What kind of place is this Honglang? She knew it very well. She swallowed her saliva subconsciously and felt her legs were a little weak. HMPH. Just give me another week. I don't care about Longye and Longxing. They will have to beg to cooperate with me by then. Lin Tiancheng next to him was still talking, and then he looked at Yizume next to him. Lin Tiancheng, who noticed that the other party was a little unnatural, asked, What's wrong, mother? Yizume raised her head suddenly at that time, which scared Lin Tiancheng. No. It's okay, I seem to be a little uncomfortable today, I'll go back first. Master. Then Yizume left hastily. Just after she left, Lin Tiancheng's room was pushed open, and a female secretary wearing a tight white shirt, a black short skirt and shiny black stockings and high heels walked in. Lin Tiancheng immediately closed his laptop, looked at the woman with a playful look and said, Xiao Yu, I miss you so much, come here, let me touch you. Hateful boss, you asked me to close the door, the lady just left. Hurry up, I can't wait, I've been very angry these 2 days. You came at the right time. And Yizume, who was leaving, received another text message, which asked her to wear a mask at night, dress, and stay all night. Yizume started to get angry in the car, smashing the car window with her bag, asking her to let her go to Honglang alone for a whole night. Who is the other party? She is now out of breath, and she is confused when she thinks about what she might be treated at night. And Ni Union has sent people to Honglang Club to decorate the room for tonight, prepare some special drinks on the table, and install pinhole cameras. After finishing all these, Ni Union then sent a message to Lin Cheng, Boss, the arrangements are ready. Red romance tonight. Amy Yip will come. Good. Hard work. Keep this a secret. If the second person knows, you don't have to work. Okay. Then Ni Union took out a Zhan Hemen and lit it up, thinking that her boss Lin Cheng first gave Huo Sha shares and now started to attack Lin Tiancheng's first wife Amy Yip. Is Lin Cheng going to kill Lin Tiancheng? Ni Union also guessed what will happen to Amy Yip tonight, and secretly sighed that the boss knows how to play. Lin Cheng looked at the time and was in a good mood. As long as he could deal with this woman who persecuted his mother every day, he could take over the industries of the Lin and Yi families through her. Then he looked at Sharona, who was watching TV next to him, and said, Wife, I may not go home tonight. I'm going to a secret place and will be back tomorrow morning. You don't have to wait for me. Help me watch the elves training. Be good. Okay, I have to go to school tomorrow. I've fallen behind in my classes after staying at home for a few days, don't work too hard at night. Well, it won't be too hard. That night, Yizume told Lin Tiancheng that she had an important business meeting tonight, and the other party might provide them with sponsorship, so she asked Lin Tiancheng not to look for her. Lin Tiancheng was so happy that he asked his 2 secretaries to come to the secret room of his office to play landlord tonight. He also said to Yizume very dotingly, "Thank you for your hard work, dear. I have to stay in the company to work overtime tonight, and I may not go home." Well, let's take it one step at a time. After leaving the Lin family compound, Yizume wore a mask, took a few taxis, and came to a clothing mall. Asking her to wear something, she naturally knew what it meant, showing what should be exposed, and showing a little bit of what should not be exposed. Clothes that are half covered are the most soul-stirring. She looked at the Pokeball in her bag again, a 3-in-1 magnetron that had been with her for many years, and it was already professional level. If the other party really wanted to kill her at night, she would rely on it. "Hello, what kind of clothes do you want to buy?" A pretty salesperson came over with enthusiasm. Seeing how Yizume dressed, she knew that she was a big customer. Yizume said with embarrassment, "I'll see for myself." An hour later, a woman in a super low-cut tight skirt walked out of the shopping mall. A pair of black and white gradient stockings looked extremely tempting in the night of Qingliu City. The pair of crystal high heels on her feet were at least 12 centimeters high. You can smell an extremely hot perfume when you walk by her, but this woman is wearing a mask, which makes other people even more imaginative. Yizume's heartbeat has become very fast since she put on this dress, beating fast. Then she called a taxi and headed towards the Red Romantic Club. As soon as Yizume got in the car, she saw the fiery eyes of the taxi driver, and her throat seemed to be swallowing saliva constantly. When the driver heard Amy Yip say she was going to Red Romance, he understood that people dressed like this must be working there, and the driver was also very playful. The car music he played along the way made some strange sounds from time to time. Amy Yip felt ashamed, and she didn't dare to speak, fearing that the other party would do something strange to her. While waiting for the traffic light, the driver looked at Amy Yip behind him with a playful look and said, "Miss, why don't you go there? Today is Monday. There may not be many customers. Do you want to ask me? How many alliance coins a night? Make a price. I have money." Amy Yip looked annoyed. What a rotten fish and shrimp dared to hit her, and she didn't say anything even though she was wearing a mask. The driver felt bored when he saw that the other party ignored him. After Yizume got off the car, the driver said with an indignant look, "Tisk. Who are you looking down on?" When Yizume came to the room mentioned in the text message with a nervous look on her face, she looked around the corridor and knocked on the door. The moment the door opened, she felt her heart was about to jump out. At this moment, she regretted it. She didn't want to come. She wanted to leave here. Just as she was about to leave, she suddenly felt a huge force dragging her in, and then the door was closed. The room was dark, and Yizume, who was dragged into the room, also felt the figure of a man in the dark. And at this moment, the man seemed to have locked the door. Yizume, with a terrified face, took out her Pokeball in a panic, and a 3-in-1 magnetron was released directly. Professional level 3-in-1 magnetron. Not bad, beauty. I didn't expect you to have such strength. Yizume was a little confused when she heard the unfamiliar voice. Who could this person be? 3-in-1 magnetron. Use 100,000 volts. 3-in-1 magnetron. Quote. Question mark quote. Yizume panicked. She had clearly released it. Just then, the shadow opposite said lightly, "Don't shout, there will be enough time for you to shout." Then the lights in the room were turned on, and the whole room was rendered with a special atmosphere by the pink lights, an extremely romantic atmosphere. And there was a faint fragrance in the room. Yizume subconsciously covered her mouth and nose. She knew that the fragrance of this place was specially made and might make people have wild thoughts. Then she saw the unconscious 3-in-1 magnetron next to her. She didn't know what attack had knocked him out. Tisk tisk tisk, beauty, you are wearing so little, is it for me? You really dare to come here, I admire you. Yizume looked at the unfamiliar man opposite her, and she was also confused. She had never seen this man before. With short hair and a burly figure, he was at least 1.9 meters tall, with extremely developed chest muscles. The tight vest made it all visible. An extremely muscular man, with muscles all over his body. Whether it was his arms or legs, they were all covered with blue veins. Yizume swallowed subconsciously. Is this a human? If he Yizume's face was a little hot at the time, but it couldn't be seen under the pink light. Who are you? Why do you know about me? Tell me, whose child is Lin Baiwei? Yes, my childhood friend. The other party was stunned for a moment, then looked at Yizume fiercely, as if he could see through the other party's thoughts, which made Yizume's heart tremble. It's actually the son of the Yi family. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Yi family are really good at tricks, it's actually Yi Tian's son. Yi family are so shameless. You actually want to seize the Lin family's foundation with this method, ha ha ha, I admire you. Yizume panicked. She didn't know how the other party knew her thoughts. She just thought about it, and the other party knew it. Could he see through her thoughts? You know everything, then can I leave? Want to leave? Why are you in a hurry? It's only 8 o'clock in the evening. If you are happier tonight, then don't leave tomorrow. What do you want? Money. How much money? I'll give it to you. I don't want money. Okay, don't waste your breath. No one can save you tonight, don't think about others saving you. The muscular man walked towards Yizume and released an elite-level mouth stupid flower, and used a sleeping powder on Yizume. You don't. Yizume shouted desperately, she had thought of something. Then she fainted. The muscular man also slowly began to change at this time. It was naturally Lin Qing. He used Latias's transformation skill and put away the mouth flower he got from the company's website. He opened the window directly, holding the sleeping Yizume with a smirk on his face, and flew out invisibly. Disappeared in the night sky. Just after Lin Qing took Amy Yip away, a team of people took Catwoman to check on Red Romance. They checked every room, but they couldn't find Amy Yip. Master Yi, Amy Yip wasn't found. The hotel surveillance was turned off tonight. I heard from the front desk that there was indeed a beautifully dressed woman tonight. It must be her. Search for me. Under the bed. Secret door. Basement. Search every corner of Red Romance for me. Yes, sir. Yi Tian's beard was already exploded with anger. If this matter got out, his position as the head of the family would definitely be taken away by his brother. That. Not only the family reputation, the company reputation. He had been planning for so many years to find an opportunity to eat up Lin Tiancheng's family business. Seeing that the time was about to mature, Amy Yip actually sent him a text message today. At that time, Yi Tian's legs were cramped with fear. At the same time, Ni Union also received news that Hongmin was being investigated by someone. It seemed that they were plainclothes police, and there were many caterpillars. Ni Union was stunned when she heard this. The only family related to the police station was the Yi family. Could it be that the matter was exposed? What about their boss? She then sent a text message to Lin Qing, but the other party replied to her with a few words, "It's okay, pay attention to the Yi family." Ni Union also knew that her boss had taken Yizume away. He was really an incredible man. How did he know that Yizume told the Yi family? In the suburbs of Qingliu City, in an abandoned factory bought by Longye Company, Limited, Yizume was hanging on a beam, and her mask was taken off. Lin Qing once again turned into a muscular man, looking a bit like Dwayne Johnson. After he had just detected Yizume's thoughts through telepathy, he became more and more angry. This woman actually hired someone to plot against his mother Huo Sha. If Lin Tiancheng hadn't saved his mother, who knows what would have happened. This woman also bought off all the people in his mother Huo Sha's company. Not only did she suppress his mother at the company level, she also threatened her mother's life. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Qing was admitted to the mental hospital at that time, he would have been in the funeral home long ago. Their next plan was to use a scam to get Lin Tiancheng to jump in a week later, and then kill Lin Qing, so that Lin Baiwei could marry Zyrna after he took over. Then let the Yi family eat up the Lin family, and then the Zyrn family. No wonder his mother Huo Sha didn't let him go home all the time, obviously knowing that someone was going to harm him. Thinking of this, Lin Qing could no longer suppress his anger. He didn't expect this woman to be so vicious. At this time, the woman also woke up. Amy Yip, who looked flustered, opened her eyes with some difficulty. Looking at her hands tied with iron chains, she shouted loudly. Someone come! Someone come! Save me! Help! Lin Qing looked at the woman angrily and said, Scream, this is the suburbs, there is no family within a 10-mile radius, I won't waste my words with you, you asked for it. Lin Qing walked over, and Izume shouted in panic, looking at the extremely strong man, like a beast, she panicked. There is also a camera next to her, which is going to cut off all her escape routes. No, madam, you don't want the matter to be exposed, do you? Lin Qing pinched Izume's chin and said playfully. Just when Izume was a little dazed, Lin Qing hugged her over, her hands tied by the iron chain struggled madly, and her legs kicked randomly. The rain outside was getting heavier and heavier, and this abandoned warehouse that no one cared about was destined to be a place that someone would never forget in his life tonight. The voice gradually became smaller and smaller, and then it seemed as if she had given up resistance, and the voice gradually followed her inner voice. I saw that Izume's expression had changed from de to. Lin Qing was also stunned. This woman gave up. It is said that women in their 30s are like wolves and tigers. For a moment, Lin Qing actually felt that she was at a disadvantage. In the second half of the night, Lin Qing untied her. Lin Qing was no longer interested, but the other party was excited. My enemy, you tell me, what should I do? I will listen to you in everything. Lin Qing looked at the blushing Izume and was speechless. He activated telepathy. This woman was completely convinced. I thought it would take several days, but it took less than one night. Absolutely. I told you to leave the Lin family and return to the Yi family. Keep an eye on the Yi family. I will come back to find you. Don't do anything without my order. Don't harm the Yi family or the Lin family. If you dare to do anything behind my back, I guarantee that your video tonight will become the headline of Qingliu City. Okay, when will you come to see me again? Quote. Lin Qing now understands. It seems that this woman has been unsatisfied all her life. Lin Tiancheng is not in good health because of his frequent promiscuity. This time, she completely opened her heart. Go back, tell them that you used your 3-in-1 magnetron to beat me away. You know what to say. Okay, I'm leaving, Lin Qing said and was about to leave. But Izume was not happy. She had never been so happy in her life. What family, what company, she was already over 30, and she could still live happily for a few more years. It didn't matter who she lived with. Thinking of this, Izume directly grabbed the muscular man in front of her and said charmingly, don't go. Stay with me for a while. Tomorrow morning, I will go back by myself. If you don't make me happy, I won't do it, it's up to you. So, the second half of the finals began. The rain outside slowly stopped. The two proud swallows flew happily along the ground after the rain, extremely happy. Early the next morning, Lin Tiancheng walked out of the darkroom in the company's office, feeling refreshed after waking up. And the two secretaries went home at 9 o'clock last night, earlier than those who stayed in the company to work overtime. Looking out the window at Qingliu City after the rain, Lin Tiancheng stretched his body and yawned comfortably. The weather is really good today. Take advantage of this good weather to win the breeding project of the 3 families. I don't know how much sponsorship I can get if I negotiate it. Lin Tiancheng thought about it and called Izume. Hello, Mom, where are you? Izume's voice on the other end of the phone seemed a little wrong. I'll go home soon. The weather was a little cold yesterday, I seem to have a cold, and my throat is a little sore, don't worry about me. Well, okay, dear, I'll talk to you when I get back. After hanging up the phone, Izume looked at Lin Qing behind her with a shy face, her eyes full of admiration. After a while, Izume left the place as if she had been reborn. She came to the roadside, took a taxi and headed towards the downtown area of Qingliu City. After Izume left, Lin Qing changed back from a muscular man and called his secretary, Ni Union, send a few people to the Yi family to do the work. I'll leave it to you later. Don't let me down. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.